Hey everyone, Cary here. Question I had this week was, I actually got a text message, well actually a message through social media from a guy who said his daughter's having a hard time because she's really good at double legs, and now her competition has figured it out, and they're staying back and they're posting and they're keeping her at a distance, and they're tying her up with 2-on-1s, Russian ties and things of that nature, and then waiting for the shot, or keeping distance and then stealing a shot. Now I'm painting the picture a little more bleak than what it was later. Him and I discussed it back and forth, and it's not as bleak as what his initial text made it sound like. But my response was this: okay, so she's being shut down on a double. She's being tied up in a Russian 2-on-1, and my response was simple: does she have a single? Does she have a high crotch? Does she have a fake shot go behind? Does she have any counters from the 2-on-1? And that's what wrestling is, right? You get good at something, especially in a local region area. You get good at something, people start to scout you, they know what you have. That's when your wrestling elevates. You use it to your advantage. Well, if they're only looking to stop a double leg, then other opportunities should arise because they're reacting to you, right? If she was getting tied up in a 2-on-1, there should be opportunity to score from that 2-on-1. What are the counters to a 2-on-1 that allow me to get to the legs or score from that position? And a rule my coaches had for me when I started out when I was young, and my father reinforced it, was they would analyze my wrestling at the end of every year and say, okay, these are your primary moves, this, and this. And I wasn't allowed to use it. First part of the season, they would say, you cannot use these moves. And that forced me to develop new techniques and forced me to wrestle in other areas, and that's why wrestling's fun in the end, is learning the counters to the counters over and over and elevating your game. So that was my response. It's an easy formula, especially if you're a coach. You can sit back, and especially if you got a younger kid, you can see where they're winning at, and they seem to be winning in the same areas all the time. Well, eventually they're going to get stale in those areas. Eventually people are going to scout them and figure them out. And you have a little rule of, okay, in practice you can't use this, and in competition you can't use this. For me personally, when I was younger, my coaches would be like, okay, Cary, when we get to the state championships, you can use whatever you want. But it forced my wrestling to develop in all areas, so it's a good formula and a good rule, especially if you got a younger kid who's just starting out to really progress their wrestling. But keep the questions coming. That was a fun one, and I'll answer them as best I can.